Previously on Strike the Ink Black Heart, our fearless duo ventured to Comic-Con, had a wee sleepover at Robin's new gaff, and the cute co-creator of Drex game got. In the aftermath of discovering a body, Strike cannot help himself winding up a police officer.
Are you aware of the laws regarding people carrying lock-picking kits?
Yes, I am. Are you?
Strike again has to point out how the crime was done, this time to the MI5 spook who really only seems to care about catching the Halvening. Strike and Robin think that Vicus's girlfriend, who goes by Paperwhite in the game, must be in danger, so Robin tries to warn her and immediately gets banned. They think Anime is monitoring the private chats because they've never heard of catfishing before, I guess. They could still get to Paperwhite via the annoying mod though. Next morning, it's business as usual at Strike and Ellacott headquarters. Pat is in early dealing with the post. Strike arrives after his grueling 2-minute commute.
Are we interested in helping find Merlin's true burial place?
Stick it on the maybe pile.
They're having a laugh and about to have a cup of tea when...
Get down!
Strike is in an explosion for the second time in his life. This was a very serious moment that I could not concentrate on because the smoking kills warning in amongst the smoke and dust here was cracking me up. The novel version of his story has a bunch more lore for Pat here. Her uncle died in an IRA bombing, so this event really affects her. I felt this was a really important part of her character but was just gone from the on-screen version. And I would have liked to see more of Strike being affected by this, both here and in the book if I'm honest. I mean, he's had some pretty serious PTSD from the explosion which took his leg. But there is this lovely moment where Pat and Cormoran are trying to share a smoke, and they have to help each other because they're both shaking. Minimum hug quota met. Pat needed a hug too for Robin, come on.
What's the damage?
His bedroom fell on my desk.
She just keeps killing it. Is Pat my favourite character now? Maybe. Robin points out she has a sofa bed so Strike can stay with her, and instead of being like, oh no, I've got a girlfriend, I'll stay with her, he immediately says, yes, I'd love to live with you, bestie, kiss kiss kiss. They need to find Paperwhite, but Robin opts to stay and look after Pat, while Strike deals with the most annoying character alone. A choice I would also make. By now, Yasmin has worked out that she was lied to, but only when directly confronted with the evidence.
I thought he was an actor. I went to his play, and when I told him who I was, he just walked off like I was a crazy person.
Upon hearing that Moorhouse has been murdered, she finally confesses that she's been playing as Anime in the game. So, everyone the detectives have cleared on that basis is suddenly back on the board. Strike is really struggling with his leg pain. Pat gets to peep Robin at work and sees just how clever she is.
You deserve a pay rise as well.
Rachel/Fiendy has a picture of Paperwhite, and using reverse search they find her. Only it's not her, it's someone who has never even heard of, let alone played Drex game. There's a bit where she explains what catfishing is, and I can't help but think some BBC exec told them to include this scene in case the audience was confused about the term. And by the audience I specifically mean my mother. And the good news is, it'll be easier tracking down someone who could have gotten access to those pictures than the journey to finding Anime has been so far. Strike is at Robin's new flat, trying out his new vape, when Madeline calls. You know, Madeline, his girlfriend that the show totally sweeps under the rug. Strike lies to whatever her name is and immediately gets caught out when Robin speaks loud enough to be heard on the line. Cormoran, Blue, Strike. We do not lie to our romantic partners, even if it would save you an awkward conversation. Get your shit together immediately, please, sir.
You fucking dick.
Yeah, fair play.
Robin offers him a drawer, which he refuses and stops himself from putting his toothbrush in the holder with her, the domestic vibes giving him the fear. But then he helps make dinner in an adorable scene, talking about his Aunt Joan, and Robin can't sleep because she loves having him there so much. Just get into bed with him, Robin. He'd be fine with it, trust me. Robin is off to spy on Charlotte's ex Jago, and Strike warns her he's violent.
If she knew that about him, why'd she marry him?
She thought I'd come galloping into church to save her.
You know, like he did at your wedding, Robin. Jago Ross has had a rough time of it since the cuckoo's calling. This piece of shit slaps one daughter, tells the other to whip her horse, and then makes her do a dangerous jump from which she falls and breaks her leg. Then, he doesn't even go with his child to the hospital. This is a change from the book I was really pleased with.
I know exactly who you are. You're Cormoran Strike's little bitch.
Why don't you take a break from hurting women and go fuck yourself?
Big right hand! Let's see that again.
Robin getting to save this girl and kick the shit out of Jago was hugely satisfying. Also, stealing his keys and throwing them into the long grass, 10 out of 10. Sometimes theft is both needed and hilarious. Researching the catfish pics, Strike discovers the recipient of the original pictures lives with his music student sister, and she had been doxed on the same website that Kia Niven was. This is the exact moment he clicks who Anime is. Armed with the dirt Robin successfully found on Jago, Strike goes to visit the Ross household on a street that looks a lot like the one where Lula Landry stayed. But of course, like the bad penny that won't just fuck right off, Charlotte DeVille is there. Look at his nose. Yeah, I need this framed.
Don't ever contact me again. Either of you.
Cruella makes one last-ditch effort to get in Cormoran's pants, and he is disgusted by her lack of care for her kids.
Are you not going for full custody?
I mean, I can if you want me to.
Goodbye, Charlotte.
Outside the House of Terrible Parents, Strike's lack of self-care finally catches up to him. Robin gets a death threat call on her mobile, so she calls Strike, where he shouts at her again, even though I already said that I hate it when he does that. It's like he can't even hear me or something.
If it's anime.
Can you just stop shouting at me?
Robin suggests the decamp to a hotel for safety, but Strike nips to the A&E first, just to ask for the good can't buy them in a chemist painkillers, but gets a wake-up call from the doctor there that he really needs to get his shit together. The doctor tells him he's going to need a few weeks of rest and recovery, which Strike absolutely will not take. Unless... In the hotel hallway, Strike tells Robin, but not the audience, who he thinks Anime is. Joke's on you, TV show. I read the book and I know who he is too, so there. Next day, Robin is helping him with his pills and gently broaches the subject of his health, but he is defensive. So she hits him with the,
I don't want to lose you.
This scene needed to be a lot more passionate and was in the book. She was shouting at him. She even says swear words, which is rare for Robin. Barclay is waiting for a witness to confirm who Anime is, whilst the dynamic duo go to call Uncle Arsehole out on his lies.
Might need a bit of good cop, bad cop.
How bad do you want me to be?
They finally trick the second wife into confirming that one of the letters was not put in the coffin. He still has it. Vital evidence in its niece's murder, and he's just got it in a drawer somewhere. Barclay shows the catfish lady's ex-boyfriend's sister, oof, there are a lot of characters in this one, pictures of the suspects to confirm if she knows any of them.
It's him.
And Uncle Dickhead finally hands over the letter meant for the coffin, meaning they might have Anime's fingerprints at the most and a handwriting sample at the least. Barclay calls to tell them the witness has ID'd a fellow music student as Anime. He's also called Anime's Music College, which for me is a rare misstep on Sam's part. They're obviously going to call his family immediately after talking to Barclay, which they do, so Anime is going to be a little bit pissed off. They get to the Epcot residence and should really wait for the police, but Robin isn't about to sit around waiting while their innocent life's in danger.
You fucking idiot. Robbie! Robbie!
The person who really should have waited in the car because he's on crutches and injured is Strike, but he follows her into the darkened house where Gus appears out of the shadow and tases his ass, then locks them all in his house of horrors.
I'll fucking kill you!
Someone help!
Oh no, this piece of shit who abused his family constantly is dead.
Yes, very sad. Anyway.
Robin skips all her fight training and just straight up bites this little shit stain, launches a bookcase at him and goes to help his mum and little sister. Katia has been stabbed and I'm struggling to feel sympathy for her neglectful ass. Gus tries to have a here's Johnny moment, but Robin breaks his finger. The neighbours arrive and distract Gus long enough for Robin to absolutely brain him with a plant pot, and they tell her there's a stabbed man downstairs. Strike has absolutely ruined this nice wooden flooring and is struggling to breathe due to a punctured lung, but he still managed to get the door open for the neighbours to come help. He thinks he's dying, and he's trying really hard to tell her something when the ambulance arrives, but all he can do is hold her hand. In video 1 I said I wish Strike would just reach out and touch Robin, and then I realised he does reach out and touch her in this scene. But at what cost? This fade to black was absolutely brutal. How dare you use the character might have died trope on me, Sutale? In the hospital, Robin visits Katia, who is still obsessed with Josh and seems to have forgotten her daughter exists, if she ever knew she did in the first place. Robin then visits Strike, accidentally knocks his card from Thingy over. He says to bin it as they've broken up, which he should have probably told her sooner. She's brought him nicotine patches, a flask of tea and Pat's fruitcake, which sounds like a strange but awesome party. They have a case wrap-up chat where it's confirmed that Gus was playing recordings of his cello practice so he could be in the game undisturbed. He had the house bugged so he could hear his mum and Josh talking about the movie deals and all the other inside info he had on Edie, just like Strike had theorised. His little sister saw him swap the coffin letter for his nasty one and made the creepy phone calls telling Strike to dig up Edie. She was trying to help, bless her.
If I'd have known you were going to follow me in.
I'll always follow you in.
He'll always follow her in. Strike invites Robin for a nicotine patches and fruitcake party in the hospital ward, but she drops the devastating news she's away out on a date with DCI Dick.
I'm going on a date. DCI Murphy asked me out.
Seems like a decent bloke.
The song Northern Sky by Nick Drake plays as Robin heads back to Denmark Strait and the captain of the ship visits Corm.
I couldn't get the words out.
Trying to tell Robin what?
Ilsa is all of us. Strike doesn't say it to Ilsa, but in the book his inner monologue is about him realising he is in love with Robin, and you can see every word of this chapter play out in Tom Burke's face beautifully. Robin sees her name on the door, just as the lyric, "Would you love me till I'm dead," is sang. It's not just a door, and it never was. We don't get to see what's going on inside, so there is a small possibility there will be glitter wallpaper and a live, laugh, love sign in the office for the next TV adaptation. The telly version of the Ink Black Heart did a great job handling all 3.2 million of the characters, but it did start to feel a wee bit muddled by this episode. The hotel scene was way better in the book. There's a drunk Strike trying desperately not to eye up Robin, and I kinda miss it, to be honest. In this version, he's grumpy because of the pain in his leg, and doesn't want to accept her help at all because he is trying to pretend there's nothing wrong. Giving it an overall not as shippy vibe, but it does directly lead into the car scene where she demands he starts taking care of himself. Which was nice, but again didn't quite hit the passion level of the written version for me. Removing all the stuff from the books where Anime is using his fake accounts to harass women, and his general obsession with getting laid, makes him demanding Robin take her clothes off a little abrupt and out of the blue. I could have used a little more depth on the incel aspect of the storyline here. Episode score, 8.5 out of 10. I'm taking off points for lack of drunk Strike, and for the messiness of it all. There were some seriously great moments in this one. This was the most Strike Tom Burke has ever struck. As these are my first videos about the TV version of Strike, please indulge me for a moment in a little rant about the people who don't get the casting choices on the show. Look with your eyes and tell me this isn't the perfect beat-up Beethoven type of face. Oh, he's not tall enough. And you can tell he's not that height from your angle on the sofa, can you, yeah? Holiday isn't as tall as Robin should be either. However, the height difference between the two is correct, and that's important for reasons. I'll admit they maybe shouldn't have cast actual giant Jack Greenleys as Barclay, who is meant to be a short arse in the book, because when he stands next to Tom Burke he makes him look even shorter than he actually is. In the first 3 adaptations, Holiday Granger's hair was absolutely perfect, and I don't know why they changed it. And again, the only part of her being cast which isn't perfect is her height, but the height difference is correct, and we cannot tell how tall they are when watching on TV. Okay, end rant. What I love about the TV adaptation is that it takes the shippy moments in the book and turns them all the way up. And the showrunner's decision to just off-screen Madeline entirely was hilarious to me. She's just not there. No actress cast, nothing, a mere footnote in this story. They add so many beautiful little touches, like Strike constantly reaching out to touch Robin then changing his mind. The little looks and glances end me. Both leads absolutely nailed their not confessing their feelings to Ilsa scenes, without us needing to hear what was going through their minds. The showrunners really trust for actors to deliver visually rather than writing huge amounts of exposition, and I really appreciate that as a fan. Having said all that, there were things I didn't enjoy about this story, both here and in the book. For example, in the year of our Lord 2016, when this story was set, there were apps which existed to schedule tweets and third-party social media management softwares to mass post across platforms. Or you can just, have someone else log into Twitter or an online game for you, like it turned out the killer was doing. I feel like the showrunners should have known this, or maybe that the author should have, but whatever, I'll suspend my disbelief. As I mentioned before, I didn't enjoy some of the cuts, Worm/Zoe, Prudence and Dev, but I understand why they were done. And as with every adaptation so far, I think the showrunners managed to capture the overall vibes from the book very well, apart from Silkworm. I have notes about the Silkworm adaptation. Gus got mere minutes of screen time pre-confrontation scene. If you hadn't read the book, and yes, there are plenty of people who don't read the books and just watch the show, like my mother, who has questions after some episodes, would the reveal work? Because Mother Dearest was all, wait, who was that again? And zero Prudence? She's a big part of the next book and Strike's life, so at least a mention would have been nice. Overall, I feel this adaptation treated the original material with respect and was really enjoyable, but lacks some of the emotional weight of the original story. However, they did a great job compiling millions of pages and characters into just 4 episodes. So my final score is 9 out of 10. Needed to get on the curry and pints because it lacked a bit of weight. But that's just my opinion. If you disagree, we can meet in the playground after school and fight about it. If people enjoyed these videos, I'll happily go back and do more for the other adaptations. Just let me know in the comments. And thank you so much for watching. Okay, love you, bye!